Edward II. By Christopher. May you do good and not evil. May you find forgiveness for yourself and forgive others. May you share freely, never taking more than you give. Copyright pages exist to tell you that you can't do something. Unlike them, this page exists to tell you that the writing and artwork in this are believed to be in the United States public domain. That is, they are believed to be free of copyright restrictions in the United States. The United States public domain represents our collective cultural heritage, and items in it are free for anyone in the United States to do almost anything at all without having to get permission. Copyright laws are different all over the world, and the source text or artwork in this may still be copyrighted in other countries. If you're not located in the United States, you must check your local laws before using this. Standard makes no representations regarding the copyright status of the source text or artwork in this in any country other than the United States. Non-authorship activities performed on items that are in the public domain's so-called sweat of the brow work don't create a new copyright. That means that nobody can claim a new copyright on an item that is in the public domain for, among other things, work like digitization, markup, or typography. Regardless, the contributors to this release their contributions under the terms in the CC01 Universal Public Domain Dedication, thus dedicating to the worldwide public domain all of the work they've done on this, including but not limited to metadata, the imprint, colophon, this, and any changes or enhancements to, or markup on the original text and artwork. This dedication doesn't change the copyright status of the source text or artwork. We make this dedication in the interest of enriching our global cultural heritage, to promote free and culture around the world, and to give back to the unrestricted culture that has given all of us so much. Table of Contents. Imprenta. Personi. Edward II. Act I. Scene I. Scene II. Scene III. Sign IV. Act II. Scene I. Scene II. Scene III. Sign IV. Sign V. Act III. Scene I. Scene II. Scene III. Act IV. Scene I. Scene II. Scene III. Sign IV. Sign V. Sign VI. Act V. Scene I. Scene II. Scene III. Sign IV. Sign V. Sign VI. Act I. Scene I. Scene II. Scene III. Sign IV. Scene I. Scene II. Scene III. Sign IV. Act II. Scene I. Scene II. Scene III. Sign IV. Scene V. Scene I. Scene II. Scene III. Sign IV. Scene V. Act III. Scene I. Scene II. Scene III. Scene I. Scene II. Scene III. Act IV. Scene I. Scene II. Scene III. Sign IV. Sign V. Sign VI. Scene I. Scene II. Scene III. Sign IV. Scene V. Scene VI. Act V. Scene I. Scene II. Scene III. Sign IV. Sign V. Sign VI. Scene I. Scene II. Scene III. Sign IV. Scene V. Scene VI. Colophon. Landmarks. Edward II. Edward II. Christopher. Act I. Scene I. A street in London. My father is deceased. Come and share the kingdom with thy dearest friend. Ah, words that make me surfeit with delight. What greater bliss can hap to than live and be thee of a king? Sweet prince, I come. These thy amorous lines might have enforced me to have swum from France, and like Leander, gasped upon the sand, so thou wouldst smile and take me in thine arms. The sight of London to my exiled eyes is as Elysium to a newcome soul, not that I love the city or the men, but that it harbors him I hold so dear, the king, upon whose bosom let me lie, and with the world be still at enmity. What need the Arctic people love starlight, to whom the sun shines both by day and night? Farewell, base, stooping to the lordly peers. My knee shall bow to none but to the king. As for the multitude that are but sparks raked up in embers of their poverty tanty, I'll fawn first on the wind that at my lips and away. But how now? What are these? Let me see, thou wouldst do well to wait at my trencher, and tell me lies at dinner time, and, as I like your discoursing, I'll have you, and what art thou? Why, there are hospitals for such as you. I have no war, and therefore, sir, be gone. Farewell, and perish by a soldier's hand, that wouldst reward them with an hospital. Aside, these words of his move me as much as if a goose should play the porcupine, and dart her plumes, thinking to pierce my breast. But yet it is no pain to speak men fair. I'll flatter these, and make them live in hope. You know that I came lately out of France, and yet I have not viewed my lord the king. If I speed well, I'll entertain you all. Do, exeunt, poor men. These are not men for me. I must have wanton poets, pleasant wits, musicians, that with touching of a string may draw the pliant king which way I please. Music and poetry is his delight, therefore I'll have Italian masks by night, sweet speeches, comedies, and pleasing shows, and in the day when he shall walk abroad, like sylvan nymphs my pages shall be clad, my men, like satyrs grazing on the lawns, shall with their goat feet dance the antic hay. Sometime a lovely boy in shape, with hair that gilds the water as it glides, crownets of pearl about his naked arms, and in his sportful hands an olive tree to hide those parts which men delight to see, shall bathe him in a spring. And there, hard by, one like Actaeon, peeping through the grove, shall by the angry goddess be transformed, and running in the likeness of an hart, by yelping hounds pulled down, shall seem to die. Such things as these best please his majesty. Here comes my lord the king, and the nobles from the parliament. I'll stand aside. Retires. Will you not grant me this? Aside. In spite of them I'll have my will, and these two that cross me thus shall know I am displeased. Mine uncle here, this earl, and I myself, were sworn to your father at his death, that he should ne'er return into the realm, and now, my lord, ere I will break my oath, this sword of mine, that should offend your foes, shall sleep within the scabbard at thy need, and underneath thy banners march who will, for will hang his up. Well, I'll make thee rue these words, beseems it thee to contradict thy king. Frown'st thou thereat, aspiring Lancaster? The sword shall plane the furrows of thy brows, and hew these knees that now are grown so stiff. I will have, and you shall know what danger 'tis to stand against your king. My lord, why do you thus incense your peers, that naturally would love and you, but for that base and obscure? 4 earldoms have I, besides Lancaster, Derby, Salisbury, Lincoln, Leicester. These will I sell, to give my soldiers pay, ere shall stay within the realm, therefore, if he be come, expel him straight. Barons and earls, your pride hath made me mute, but know I'll speak, and to the proof I hope. I do remember in my father's days, Lord of the North, being highly moved, braved in presence of the king, for which had not his highness loved him well, he should have lost his head. But with his look the undaunted spirit of was appeased, and he were reconciled. Yet dare you brave the king unto his face, brother, revenge it, and let these their heads preach upon poles for trespass of their tongues. I cannot, nor I will not, I must speak, cousin, our hands I hope shall fence our heads, and strike off his that makes you threaten us. Come, uncle, let us leave the brain-sick king, and henceforth parley with our naked swords. And northward Lancaster hath many friends. Adieu, my lord, and either change your mind or look to see the throne, where you should sit to float in blood, and at thy wanton head the glozing head of thy base minion thrown. I cannot brook these haughty menaces. Am I a king, and must be overruled? Brother, display my ensigns in the field. I'll bandy with the barons and the earls, and either die or live with. What? Welcome. Kiss not my hand, embrace me, as I do thee. Why thou kneel? Know'st thou not who I am? Thy friend, thyself, another, not Hylas, was more mourned for of Hercules than thou hast been of me since thy exile. And since I went from hence, no soul in hell hath felt more torment than poor. I know it, brother, welcome home, my friend, now let the treacherous conspire, and that high-minded Earl of Lancaster, I have my wish, in that I joy thy sight, and sooner shall the sea my land than bear the ship that shall transport thee hence. I here create thee Lord High Chamberlain, Chief Secretary to the State, and me, Earl of Cornwall, King and Lord of Man. Brother, the least of these may well suffice for one of greater birth than. Cease, brother, for I cannot brook these words. Thy worth, sweet friend, is far above my gifts, therefore to equal it receive my heart. If for these dignities thou be, I'll give thee more, for but to thee is Edward pleased with kingly regiment. Fear'st thou thy person? Thou shalt have a guard, thou gold. Go to my treasury, wouldst thou be loved and feared. Receive my seal, save or condemn, and in our name command whatso thy mind affects or fancy likes. It shall suffice me to enjoy your love, which, whiles I have, I think myself as great as Caesar riding in the Roman street, with captive kings at his triumphant car. To celebrate your father's exequies. But is that wicked returned? Priest, and lives to be revenged on thee, that wert the only cause of his exile. 'Tis true, and but for reverence of these robes, thou not plod 1 foot beyond this place. I did no more than I was bound to do, and, unless thou be reclaimed, as then I did incense the Parliament, so will I now, and thou shalt back to France. Throw off his golden, rend his stole, and in the Channel christen him anew. Brother, lay not violent hands on him, for he'll complain unto the see of Rome. Let him complain unto the see of hell, I'll be revenged on him for my exile. No, spare his life, but seize upon his goods, be thou Lord Bishop, and receive his rents, and make him serve thee as thy chaplain, give him thee, here, use him as thou wilt. But in the meantime, away, and take possession of his house and goods. Come, follow me, and thou shalt have my guard to see it done, and bring thee safe again. What should a priest do with so fair a house? A prison may beseem his holiness. Scene I. Westminster. 'Tis true, the bishop is in the Tower, and goods and body given to. What will they upon the church? Ah, wicked king! Accursed! This ground which is corrupted with their steps shall be their timeless or mine. Well, let that peevish Frenchman guard him sure, unless his breast be sword-proof, he shall die. And besides Lord Chamberlain of the realm, and Secretary too, and Lord of Man. My Lord of Cornwall, now at every word and happy, is the man whom he vouchsafes, for veiling of his bonnet, 1 good look. Thus, arm in arm, the king and he doth march, nay more, the guard upon his lordship waits, and all the court begins to flatter him. Thus leaning on the shoulder of the king, he nods and scorns, and smiles at those that pass. Ah, that their baseness, Lancaster! Were all the earls and barons of my mind, we'd hail him from the bosom of the king, and at the court gate hang the peasant up, who, swollen with venom of ambitious pride, will be the ruin of the realm and us. First were his sacred garments rent and torn, then laid they violent hands upon him, next himself imprisoned, and his goods seized. This certify the Pope, away, take horse. Exit attendant. What need I? God himself is up in arms when violence is offered to the church. Then will you join with us, that be his peers, to banish or behead that. What else, my lords? For it concerns me near, the of Coventry is his. Unto the forest, gentle to live in grief and baleful discontent, for now my lord the king regards me not, but dotes upon the love of he claps his cheeks, and hangs about his neck, smiles in his face, and whispers in his ears, and, when I come, he frowns, as who should say, Go whither thou wilt, seeing I have. Madam, return unto the court again, that sly inveigling Frenchman will exile or lose our lives, and yet, ere that day come, the king shall lose his crown, for we have power and courage too to be revenged at full. Then let him stay, for rather than my lord shall be oppressed with civil mutinies, I will endure a melancholy life, and let him frolic with his minion. My lords, to ease all this, but hear me speak, we and the rest that are his will meet, and with a general consent confirm his banishment with our hands and seals. And in the meantime I'll entreat you all to cross to, and there stay with me. Farewell, sweet, and for my sake forbear to levy arms against the king. Scene I. A street in London. Edmund, the mighty prince of Lancaster, that hath more earldoms than an ass can bear, and both the 2 goodly men, with Guy of Warwick, that redoubted knight, are gone towards Scene IV. The new temple. Here is the form of exile, may it please your lordship to subscribe your name. The name of shall fright the king, unless he be declined from that base peasant. What are you moved that sits here? It is our pleasure, we will have it so. Your grace doth well to place him by your side, for nowhere else the new earl is so safe. What man of noble birth can brook this sight? Male, see what a scornful look the peasant casts. Can kingly lions fawn on creeping ants? Ignoble vassal that, like Phaeton, tee unto the guidance of the sun. Their downfall is at hand, their forces down, we will not thus be faced and overpeered. Lay hands on that traitor. Lay hands on that traitor. Is this the duty that you owe your king? We know our duties, let him know his peers. Whither will you bear him? Stay, or ye shall die. We are no traitors, therefore threaten not. No, threaten not, my lord, but pay them home. Were I a king, thou villain, wherefore talk'st thou of a king, that hardly art a gentleman by birth? Were he a peasant, being my minion, I'll make the proudest of you stoop to him. My lord, you may not thus disparage us. Away, I say, with hateful. Nay then, lay violent hands upon your king here. Sit thou in Edward's throne, Warwick and Lancaster, where you my crown. Was ever king thus overruled as I? Learn then to rule us better and the realm. What we have done, our heart blood shall maintain. Think you that we can brook this upstart's pride? Anger and wrathful fury stops my speech. Why are you not moved? Be patient, my lord, and see what we have done. My lords, now let us all be resolute, and either have our wills, or lose our lives. Meet you for this, proud overdaring peers. Ere my sweet shall part from me, this isle shall fleet upon the ocean, and wander to the unfrequented. You know that I am legate to the Pope, on your allegiance to the See of Rome, subscribe as we have done to his exile. Curse him if he refuse, and then may we depose him and elect another king. There it goes. But yet I will not yield. Curse me, depose me, do the worst you can. Then linger not, my lord, but do it straight. Remember how the bishop was abused. Either banish him that was the cause thereof, or I will presently discharge these lords of duty and allegiance due to thee. Aside, it boots me not to threat, I must speak fair. The legate of the Pope will be obeyed, my lord. You shall be chancellor of the realm, thou, Lancaster, high admiral of our fleet young, and his uncle shall be earls, and you, Lord Warwick, president of the North, and thou of Wales. If this content you not, make several kingdoms of this monarchy, and share it equally amongst you all, so I may have some nook or corner left to frolic with my dearest. Nothing shall alter us, we are resolved. Come, come, subscribe. Why should you love him whom the world hates so? Because he loves me more than all the world. Ah, none but rude and savage-minded men would seek the ruin of my. You that be noble-born should pity him. You that are princely-born should shake him off. For shame, subscribe, and let the clown depart. Urge him, my lord. Are you content to banish him the realm? I see I must, and therefore am content. Instead of ink, I'll write it with my tears. Subscribes. Give it me, I'll have it published in the streets. I'll see him presently dispatched away. Now is my heart at ease. And so is mine. This will be good news to the common sort. How fast they run to banish him I love. They would not stir were it to do me good. Why should a king be subject to a priest? Proud Rome, that such imperial grooms with these thy superstitious taper lights, wherewith thy antichristian churches blaze, I'll fire thy crazed buildings, and enforce the papal towers to kiss the lowly ground. With slaughtered priests make Tiber's channel swell, and banks raised higher with their. As for the peers that back the clergy thus, if I be king, not one of them shall live. My lord, I hear it whispered everywhere, that I am banished and must fly the land. 'Tis true, sweet, oh were it false. The legate of the Pope will have it so, and thou must hence, or I shall be deposed. But I will reign to be revenged of them, and therefore, sweet friend, take it patiently. Live where thou wilt, I'll send thee gold enough, and long thou shalt not stay, or if thou dost, I'll come to thee, my love shall ne'er decline. Is all my hope turned to this hell of grief? Rend not my heart with thy too piercing words, thou from this land, I from myself am banished. To go from hence grieves not poor, but to forsake you, in whose gracious looks the blessedness of remains, for nowhere else seeks he felicity. And only this torments my wretched soul that, whether I will or no, thou must depart. Be governor of Ireland in my stead, and there abide till fortune call thee home. Here take my picture, and let me wear thine. Oh, might I keep thee here, as I do this, happy were I. But now most miserable. 'Tis something to be of a king. Thou shalt not hence, I'll hide thee. I shall be found, and then 'twill grieve me more. Kind words and mutual talk makes our grief greater, therefore with dumb embracement let us part. Stay, I cannot leave thee thus. For every look my love drops down a tear, seeing I must go, do not renew my sorrow. The time is little that thou hast to stay, and therefore give me leave to look my fill. But come, sweet friend, I'll bear thee on thy way. I pass not for their anger. Come, let's go, oh, that we might as well return as go. On with whom, queen, I judge no more, judge you the rest, my lord. In saying this thou wrongst me, not enough that thou corruptst my lord, and art abawd to his affections, but thou must call mine thus in question. Thou art too familiar with that, and by thy means is exiled, but I would wish thee reconciled the lords, or thou shalt ne'er be reconciled to me. Wherein, my lord, have I deserved these words? Witness the tears that Isabella sheds, witness this heart that, sighing for thee, breaks, how dear my lord is to poor. And witness heaven how dear thou art to me, there weep, for till my be repealed, assure thyself thou comest not in my sight. O miserable and distressed queen! Would, when I left sweet France and was embarked, that charming Circe, walking on the waves, had changed my shape. Or at the marriage day the cup of Hymen had been full of poison. Or with those arms that twined about my neck, I had been stifled, and not lived to see the king my lord thus to abandon me. Like frantic Juno will I fill the earth with ghastly murmur of my sighs and cries, for never doted Jove on Ganymede so much as he on Cursed, but that will more exasperate his wrath. I must entreat him, I must speak him fair, and be a means to call home, and yet he'll ever dote on, and so am I forever miserable. Look where the sister of the king of France sits wringing of her hands and beats her breast. Ah, now breaks the king's hate forth, and he that he loves me not. No, rather will I die 1,000 deaths, and yet I love in vain, he'll ne'er love me. Fear ye not, madam, now his minion's gone, his wanton will be quickly left. Oh, never, Lancaster! I am enjoined to sue unto you all for his repeal, this wills my lord, and this must I perform, or else be banished from his highness' presence. For his repeal, madam, he comes not back, unless the sea cast up his shipwrecked body. And to behold so sweet a sight as that, there's none here but would run his horse to death. For till he be restored, the angry king hath banished me the court, and therefore, as thou intendest me, be thou my advocate unto these peers. O Lancaster, let him dissuade the king. For 'tis against my will he should return. Fair queen, forbear to angle for the fish which, being caught, strikes him that takes it dead. I mean that vile torpedo, that now, I hope, floats on the Irish seas. Sweet, sit down by me a while, and I will tell thee reasons of such weight as thou wilt soon subscribe to his repeal. My lords, albeit the queen win, will you be resolute and hold with me? Well, of necessity it must be so, my lords, that I abhor base, I hope you make no question. And therefore, though I plead for his repeal, 'tis not for his sake, but to our avail, nay, for the realm's behoof and for the king. Fie not thyself. Can this be true? 'Twas good to banish him. And is this true, to call him home again? Such reasons make white black and dark night day. This which I urge is of a burning zeal to mend the king, and do our country good. Know you not hath store of gold, which may in Ireland purchase him such friends as he will front the mightiest of us all. And whereas he shall live and be beloved, 'tis hard for us to work his overthrow. But were he here detested as he is, how easily might some base slave be suborned to greet his lordship with a poniard, and none so much as blame the murderer, but rather praise him for that brave attempt, and in the chronicle, his name for purging of the realm of such a plague. Because, my lords, it was not thought upon. Nay more, when he shall know it lies in us to banish him, and then to call him home, 'twill make him veil the top flag of his pride, and fear to offend the meanest nobleman. Then may we with some rise in arms, for howsoever we have borne it out, 'tis treason to be up against the king. So shall we have the people of our side, which for his father's sake lean to the king, but cannot brook a night-grown mushroom, such a one as my lord of Cornwall is, should bear us down of the nobility, and when the commons and the nobles join, 'tis not the king can buckler will pull him from the strongest hold he hath. My lords, if to perform this I be slack, think me as base a groom as. In this I count me highly, and will rest at your command. And when this forgets, then let her live abandoned and forlorn. But see, in happy time, my lord the king, having brought the Earl of Cornwall on his way, is new returned. This news will glad him much, yet not so much as me. I love him more than he can, would he loved me but half so much. Then were I treble blessed. He's gone, and for his absence thus I mourn. Did never sorrow go so near my heart as doth the want of my sweet, and, could my crown's revenue bring him back, I would freely give it to his enemies, and think I gained, having bought so dear a friend. My heart is as an anvil unto sorrow, which beats upon it like the Cyclops' hammers, and with the noise turns up my giddy brain, and makes me frantic for my. Ah, had some bloodless fury rose from hell, and with my kingly struck me dead, when I was forced to leave my. For thee, fair queen, if thou I'll hang a golden tongue about thy neck, seeing thou hast pleaded with so good success. No other jewels hang about my neck than these, my lord, nor let me have more wealth than I may fetch from this rich treasury. Oh, how a kiss revives poor. Once more receive my hand, and let this be a second marriage, thyself and me. And may it prove more happy than the first. My gentle lord, bespeak these nobles fair that wait attendance for a gracious look, and on their knees salute your majesty. Courageous Lancaster, embrace thy king and, as gross perish by the sun, even so let hatred with thy sovereign's smile, live thou with me as my companion. Warwick shall be my chiefest, these silver hairs will more adorn my court than gaudy silks or rich embroidery. Chide me, sweet Warwick, if I go astray. In solemn triumphs and in public shows shall bear the sword before the king. But wherefore walks young aside? Be thou commander of our royal fleet, or, if that lofty office like thee not, I make thee here Lord Marshal of the realm. My lord, I'll marshal so your enemies, as England shall be quiet and you safe. And as for you, lord of, whose great achievements in our foreign war deserve no commonplace nor mean reward, be you the general of the levied troops that now are ready to assail the Scots. In this your grace hath highly me, for with my nature war doth best agree. Now is the King of England rich and strong, having the love of his renowned peers. Ne'er was my heart so light, clerk of the crown, direct our warrant forth for to Ireland. Beaumont, fly as fast as Iris or Jove's Mercury. Lord, we lave you to your charge. Now let us in and feast it royally. Against our friend the Earl of Cornwall comes, will have a general tilt and tournament, and then his marriage shall be, for wot you not that I have made him sure unto our cousin, the Earl of Gloucester's heir. That day, if not for him, yet for my sake, who in the triumph will be challengers, spare for no cost, we will requite your love. Nephew, I must to Scotland, thou stays thee here. Leave now to oppose thyself against the king. Thou, by nature he is mild and calm and, seeing his mind so dotes on, let him without controlment have his will. The mightiest kings have had their minions. Great Alexander loved, the conquering Hercules for Hylas wept, and for Patroclus stern Achilles drooped. And not kings only, but the wisest men, the Roman loved, grave Socrates, wild Alcibiades. Then let his grace, whose youth is flexible, and as much as we can wish freely enjoy that vain light-headed earl, for riper years will wean him from such toys. Uncle, his wanton grieves not me, but this I scorn, that one so basely born should by his sovereigns grow so pert, and riot it with the treasure of the realm while soldiers mutiny for want of pay. He wears a lord's revenue on his back and, Midas-like, he jets it in the court, with base outlandish cullions at his heels, whose proud fantastic liveries make such show as if that Proteus, god of shapes, appeared. I have not seen a dapper Jack so brisk. He wears a short Italian hooded cloak, larded with pearl, and in his Tuscan cap a jewel of more value than the crown. While others walk below, the king and he from out a window, laugh at such as we, and flout our train and jest at our attire. Uncle, 'tis this that makes me impatient. Then so I am, and live to do him service, but whiles I have a sword, a hand, a heart, I will not yield to any such upstart. You know my mind, come uncle, let's away. Act I. Scene I, a hall in Gloucester's house. Seeing that our lord the Earl of Gloucester's dead, which of the nobles dost thou mean to serve? Not nor any of his side, because the king and he are enemies. Learn this of me, a factious lord shall hardly do himself good, much less us, but he that hath thee of a king may with one word advance us while we live. The liberal Earl of Cornwall is the man on whose good fortune's hope depends. Know his companion, for he loves me well, and would have once preferred me to the king. For a while, but mark the end. A friend of mine told me in secrecy that he's repealed and sent for back again, and even now a post came from the court with letters to Our Lady from the king and, as she read, she smiled, which makes me think it is about her lover. 'Tis like enough, for since he was exiled, she neither walks abroad nor comes in sight. But I had thought the match had been broke off, and that his banishment had changed her mind. Our Lady's first love is not wavering, my life for thine she will have. Then hope I by her means to be preferred, having read unto her since she was a child. Then you must cast the scholar off, and learn to court it like a gentleman. 'Tis not a black coat and a little band, a velvet-caped cloak, faced before with serge, and smelling to a nosegay all the day, or holding of a napkin in your hand, or saying a long grace at a table's end, or making low legs to a nobleman, or looking downward with your eyelids close, and saying, truly may please you, can get you any with great men. You must be proud, bold, pleasant, resolute, and now and then stab as occasion serves. Thou know'st I hate such formal toys, and use them but of mere hypocrisy. Mine old lord, whiles he lived, was so precise, that he would take exceptions at my buttons, and being like pins' heads blame me for the bigness, which made me curate-like in mine attire, though inwardly licentious enough, and apt for any kind of villainy. I am none of these common pedants, I that cannot speak without quad, but one of those that saith, and hath a special gift to form a verb. The grief for his exile was not so much as is the joy of his returning home. This letter came from my sweet. What needst thou, love, thus to excuse thyself? I know thou couldst not come and visit me. Raids. I will not long be from thee, though I die. This argues the entire love of my Lord reads. When I forsake thee, death seize on my heart, but stay thee here where shall sleep. Puts the letter into her bosom. Now to the letter of my lord the king, he wills me to repair unto the court, and meet why do I stay, seeing that he talks thus of my marriage day, who's there? Oh, see that my coach be ready, I must hence. Stay you and bear me company, for I have joyful news to tell thee of, my lord of Cornwall is a-coming over, and will be at the court as soon as we. If all things sort out, as I hope they will, thy service shall be thought upon. Scene I. Before castle. The wind is good, I wonder why he stays, I fear me he is wrecked upon the sea. Look, Lancaster, how passionate he is, and still his mind runs on his minion. Nothing but. What means your grace? You have matters of more weight to think upon. The King of France sets foot in Normandy. A trifle. We'll expel him when we please. But tell me, what's thy device against the stately triumph we decreed? But seeing you are so desirous, thus it is, a lofty cedar tree, fair flourishing, on whose top branches kingly eagles perch, and by the bark a canker creeps me up, and gets unto the highest bough of all the motto tandem. My lord, mine's more obscure than's. Pliny reports there is a flying fish which all the other fishes deadly hate, and therefore, being pursued, it takes the air. No sooner is it up, but there's a foul that it. This fish, my lord, I bear the motto this, mors est. Proud. Lancaster. Is this the love you bear your sovereign? Is this the fruit your reconcilement bears? Can you in words make show of amity, and in your shields display your rancorous minds? What call you this but private libeling against the Earl of Cornwall and my brother? They love me not that hate my. I am that cedar, shake me not too much, and you the eagles, soar ye ne'er so high, I have the jesses that will pull you down, and tandem shall that canker cry unto the proudest peer of. Thou that tee him to a flying fish, and threatens te death whether he rise or fall, tease not the hugest monster of the sea nor foulest harpy that shall swallow him. If in his absence thus he him, what will he do? He shall be present. My welcome to. Welcome to thy friend. Thy absence made me droop and pine away, for, as the lovers of fair Danae, when she was locked up in a brazen tower, desired her more and waxed outrageous, so did it fare with me. And now thy sight is far, then was thy parting hence bitter and irksome to my sobbing heart. Sweet lord and king, your speech mine, yet have I words left to express my joy. The shepherd, with biting winter's rage, frolics not more to see the painted spring than I do to behold your majesty. Base leaden earls that glory in your birth, go sit at home and eat your tenants' beef, and come not here to scoff at, whose mounting thoughts did never creep so low as to bestow a look on such as you. Yes, more than thou canst answer, though he live dear, shall you both abide this riotous deed, out of my presence. Come not near the courts. Nay, all of them conspire to cross me thus, but if I live, I'll tread upon their heads that think with high looks thus to tread me down. Come, Edmund, let's away and levy men, 'tis war that must abate these barons' pride. Cousin, it is no dealing with him now, he means to make us stoop by force of arms, and therefore let us jointly here protest to prosecute that to the death. And so doth Lancaster. Now send our heralds to defy the king, and make the people swear to put him down. They rate his ransom at £5,000. Who should defray the money but the king, seeing he is taken prisoner in his wars? I'll to the king. Meantime my lord of and myself will to Newcastle here, and gather head. Cousin, and if he will not ransom him, I'll thunder such appeal into his ears as never subject did unto his king. Content, I'll bear my part. Who's there? How now? What noise is this? Who have we here? You are going? Nay, stay, my lord, I come to bring you news. Mine uncle's taken prisoner by the Scots. Quiet yourself, you shall have the broad seal, to gather for him throughout the realm. My lord, the family of thee are not so poor, but would they sell their land, levy men enough to anger you. We never beg, but use such prayers as these. The idle triumphs, masks, lascivious shows, and prodigal gifts bestowed on have drawn thy treasury dry, and made thee weak, the murmuring commons, overstretched, break. Look for rebellion, look to be deposed, thy garrisons are beaten out of France, and lame and poor lie groaning at the gates the wild, with swarms of Irish kerns, lives uncontrolled within the English pale, unto the walls of York the Scots make road, and drive away rich spoils. The haughty Dane commands the narrow seas, while in the harbour ride thy ships unrigged. Thy gentle queen, sole sister, to Valois complains that thou hast left her all forlorn. Thy court is naked, being bereft of those that make a king seem glorious to the world, I mean the peers, whom thou dearly love. Libels are cast against thee in the street, ballads and rhymes made of thy overthrow. The northern borderers, seeing their houses burnt, their wives and children slain, run up and down, cursing the name of the end. When wert thou in the field with banner spread, but once? And then thy soldiers marched like players, with garish robes, not, and thyself, bedaubed with gold, rode laughing at the rest, nodding and shaking of thy spangled crest, where women's hung like labels down. And thereof came it that the fleering Scots, to England's high disgrace, have made this jig. Maids of England, sore may you mourn, for your lemons you have lost at, with a heave and a hoe. What the King of England, so soon to have won Scotland, with a and when 'tis gone, our swords shall purchase more. If you be moved, revenge it as you can, look next to see us with our ensigns spread. Exit with the younger. My swelling heart for very anger breaks, how oft have I been baited by these peers, and dare not be revenged, for their power is great. Yet shall the crowning of these cockerels affright a lion. Edward, unfold thy paws, and let their lives' blood slake thy fury's hunger. If I be cruel and grow tyrannous, now let them thank themselves and rue too late. My lord, I see your love too will be the ruin of the realm and you, for now the wrathful nobles threaten wars, and therefore, brother, banish him forever. No marvel though thou scorn thy noble peers, when I thy brother am rejected thus. Away, exit Kent. Poor, thou hast no friend but me. Do what they can, we'll live in here, and so I walk with him about the walls, what care I though the earls begirt us round. Here comes she that is cause of all these jars. The younger is grown so brave, that to my face he threatens civil wars. Would Lancaster and he had both caroused a bowl of poison to each other's health. But let them go, and tell me what are these. 2 of my father's servants whilst he lived, please your grace to entertain them now. My name is, and my gentry I fetch from Oxford, not from heraldry. The fitter art thou for my turn. Wait on me, and I'll see thou shalt not want. My lord his name is, he is well allied, for my sake let him wait upon your grace, scarce shall you find a man of more desert. Then wait upon me for his sake, I'll grace thee with a higher style ere long. No greater titles happen unto me than to be of your majesty. Cousin, this day shall be your marriage feast, and think that I love thee well to wed thee to our niece, the only heir unto the Earl of Gloucester late deceased. I know, my lord, many will stomach me, but I respect neither their love nor hate. The headstrong barons shall not limit me, he that I list to shall be great. Come, let's away, and when the marriage ends, have at the rebels and their scene. I. Near castle. My lords, of love to this our native land, I come to join with you, and leave the king and in your quarrel, and the realm's behoof, will be the first that shall adventure life. I fear me you are sent of policy, to undermine us with a show of love. He is your brother, therefore have we cause to cast the worst and doubt of your revolt. Mine shall be hostage of my truth, if that will not suffice, farewell, my lords. Stay, Edmund, never was Plantagenet false of his word, and therefore trust we thee. And it. Now my lords know this that is secretly arrived, and here in frolics with the king. Let us with these our followers scale the walls and suddenly surprise them unawares. This tattered ensign of my ancestors, which swept the desert shore of that Dead Sea whereof we got the name of, will I advance upon this castle's walls, drums, strike alarum, raise them from their sport, and ring aloud the knell of. None be so hardy as to touch the king, but neither spare you nor his friends. Sign IV. In castle. Fly, my lords, the earls have got the hold, take shipping and away to Scarborough, and I will post away by land. From my embracements thus he breaks away. Oh, that mine arms could close this isle about, that I might pull him to me where I would. Or that these tears that drizzle from mine eyes had power to mollify his stony heart, that, when I had him, we might never part. The miserable queen, whose pining heart her inward sighs have blasted, and body with continual mourning wasted, these hands are tired with hailing of my lord from wicked and all in vain, for when I speak him fair, he turns away and smiles upon his minion. No, madam, but that cursed, far be it from the thought of Lancaster to offer violence to his sovereign. We would but rid the realm of, tell us where he remains, and he shall die. He's gone by water unto Scarborough, pursue him quickly, and he cannot scape, the king hath left him, and his train is small. That thus your army, going several ways, might be of lesser force, and with the power that he presently to raise be easily suppressed, therefore be gone. Here in the river rides a Flemish hoy, let's all aboard and follow him. The wind that bears him hence will fill our sails, come aboard. 'Tis but an hour's sailing. You know the king is so suspicious as, if he hear I have but talked with you, mine will be called in question, and therefore, gentle, be gone. Madam, I cannot stay to answer you, but think of as he deserves. So well hast thou deserved, sweet, as could live with thee forever. In vain I look for love at Edward's hand, whose eyes are fixed on none but. Yet once more I'll importune him with prayer, if he be strange, and not regard my words, my son and I will over into France, and to the king my brother there complain how hath robbed me of his love, but yet I hope my sorrows will have end, and this blessed day be slain. I exit. S'en va the open country. Yet, lusty lords, I have escaped your hands, your threats, your hot pursuits, and, though divorced from King Edward's eyes, yet live the pierce of unsurprised, breathing in hope, all your beards that muster rebels thus against your king to see his royal sovereign once again. Thou proud disturber of thy country's peace, corrupter of thy king, cause of these broils, base flatterer, yield. And were it not for shame, and to a soldier's name, upon my weapon's point here thou fall, and welter in thy gore. Monster of men that, like the Greekish strumpet, trained to arms and bloody wars so many valiant knights, look for no other fortune, wretch, than death. King Edward is not here to buckler thee. Lancaster, why talk'st thou to the slave? Go, soldiers, take him hence, for by my sword his head shall off, short warning shall serve thy turn. it is our country's cause that here severely we will execute upon thy person, hang him at a bough. Soldiers, have him away, but, for thou wert thee of a king, thou shalt have so much at our hands. I thank you all, my lords. Then I perceive that heading is one, and hanging is the other, and death is all. His Majesty, hearing that you had taken you by me, yet but he may see him before he dies. For why he says and sends you word, he knows that die he shall, and, if you gratify his grace so far, he will be mindful of the courtesy. Renowned Edward, how thy name revives poor. Know it not, we will gratify the king in other matters, he must pardon us in this, soldiers, away with him. Why, my Lord of Warwick, will now these short delays beget my hopes? I know it, lords, it is life you aim at, yet grant King Edward this. Shalt thou appoint what we shall grant soldiers, away with him, thus will gratify the king will send his head by thee, let him bestow his tears on that, for that is all he gets of, or else his senseless trunk. Not so, my lord, lest he bestow more cost in burying him than he hath ever earned. My lords, it is his Majesty's request, and in the of a king he swears, he will but talk with him and send him back. When can you tell? No, we wot he that the care of his realm remits, and drives his nobles to these exigents for, will, if he sees him once, violate any promise to possess him. Then, if you will not trust his grace and keep my lords, I will be pledge for his return. 'Tis in thee to offer this, but, for we know thou art a noble gentleman, we will not wrong thee so to make away a true man for a thief. Away, base groom, robber of king's renown. Question with thy companions and mates. My lord and you, my lords, each one to gratify the king's request therein, touching the sending of this, because his Majesty so earnestly desires to see the man before his death, I will upon mine undertake to carry him, and bring him back again, provided this, that you, my lord of, will join with me. What wilt thou do? Cause yet more bloodshed. Is it not enough that we have taken him, but must we now leave him on had I wist, and let him go? My lords, I will not overwoo you, but, if you dare trust with the prisoner, upon mine oath I will return him back. Sweet sovereign, yet I come to see thee ere I die. Aside, yet not perhaps, if Warwick's wit and policy prevail. My lord of, we deliver him, you, return him on your sound away. My lord, you shall go with me, my house is not far hence, out of the way a little, but our men shall go along. We that have pretty wenches to our wives, sir, must not come so near to balk their lips. 'Tis very kindly spoke, my lord of, your hath an adamant of power to draw a prince. So my lord, come hither, James, I do commit this to thee, be thou this night his keeper, in the morning we will discharge thee of thy charge, be gone. Act I. Scene I the open country. Weaponless must I fall, and die in bands. Oh, must this day be period of my life, centre of all my bliss. And ye be men, speed to the king. My lord of men, strive you no longer, I will have that. Your lordship doth to yourself, and wrong our lord your friend. No, James, it is my country's cause I follow, go, take the villain, soldiers, come away, will make quick work, commend me to your master my friend, and tell him that I watched it well, come, let thy shadow parley with King Edward. The King of Heaven perhaps, no other king, away. Come, fellows, it booted not for us to strive, we will in haste go certify our lord. Scene I. Near in Yorkshire. I long to hear an answer from the barons touching my friend, my dearest. Ah, not the riches of my realm can ransom him. Ah, he is marked to die. I know the malice of the younger, Warwick I know is rough, and Lancaster inexorable, and I shall never see my lovely Pierce again. The barons overbear with me their pride. Were I King Edward, England's sovereign son, to the lovely of Spain, great Edward, issue, would I bear these braves, this rage, and suffer uncontrolled these barons thus to beard me in my land, in mine own realm. My lord, pardon my speech, did you retain your father's magnanimity, did you regard thee of your name, you would not suffer thus your majesty be counterbuffed of your nobility. Strike off their heads, and let them preach on poles. No doubt such lessons they will teach the rest, as by their preachments they will profit much, and learn obedience to their lawful king. Yes, gentle, we have been too mild, too kind to them, but now have drawn our sword, and if they send me not my, will steal it on their crests and pole their tops. This hot resolve becomes your majesty, not to be tied to their affection, as though your highness were a schoolboy still, and must be awed and governed like a child. Long live my sovereign, the noble Edward, in peace triumphant, fortunate in wars. Welcome, old man, comest thou in Edward's aid. Then tell thy prince of whence and what thou art. Lo, with a band of pikes, brown bills, and 400 strong, sworn to defend King Edward's royal right, I come in person to your majesty, the father of there, bound to your highness everlastingly for done in him unto us all. Thy father, true, and it like your grace that pours, in lieu of all your goodness shown, his life, my lord, before your princely feet. Welcome 10,000 times, old man, again. This love, this kindness to thy king, argues thy noble mind and disposition. I here create the Earl of Wiltshire, and daily will enrich thee with our that, as the sunshine shall reflect o'er thee. Beside the more to manifest our love, because we hear Lord doth sell his land, and that thee are in hand withal, thou shalt have crowns of us to outbid the barons, and spare them not, lay it on soldiers, a largess and thrice welcome all. News of Lord and discontent. Our friend, faithful and full of trust, us by letters and by words, that Lord Valois, our brother, King of France, because your highness hath been slack in homage, hath seized Normandy into his hands. These be the letters, this the messenger. Welcome, Tush Sib, if this be all, Valois and I will soon be friends again. But to my, shall I never see, never behold thee now, madam. In this matter we will employ you and your little son. You shall go parley with the King of France. Boy, see you bear you bravely to the king, and do your message with a majesty. Commit not to my youth things of more weight than fits a prince so young as I to bear, and fear not, Lord and Father, heaven's great beams on Atlas' shoulder shall not lie more safe than shall your charge committed to my trust. Ah, boy, this makes thy mother fear thou art not marked to many days on earth. Madam, we will that you with speed be shipped, and this our son shall follow you with all the haste we can dispatch him hence. Choose of our lords to bear you company and go in peace, lave us in wars at home. Unnatural wars, where subjects brave their king, God end them once, my lord. I take my leave to make my preparation for France. Exit with Prince Edward. Ah, traitors, have they put my friend to death? Tell me, died he ere thou cam'st, or didst thou see my friend to take his death? Neither, my lord, for as he was surprised, begirt with weapons, and with enemies round, I did your highness message to them all, demanding him of them, entreating rather, and said, upon thee of my name, that I would undertake to carry him unto your highness, and to bring him back. I found them at the first inexorable. The Earl of Warwick would not bide the hearing, hardly, and Lancaster spake least. And when they flatly had, refusing to receive me pledge for him, the Earl of mildly thus bespake, my lord, because our sovereign sends for him, and he shall be safe returned, I will this undertake to have him hence, and see him redelivered to your hands. The Earl of Warwick seized him on his way, for, being delivered unto his men, their lord rode home, thinking his prisoner safe. But ere he came, Warwick in ambush lay, and bare him to his death, and in a trench strake off his head, and marched unto the camp. My lord, refer your vengeance to the sword upon these barons. Hearten up your men, let them not murder your friends. Advance your standard, Edward, in the field, and march to fire them from their starting holes. Knelling, by earth, the common mother of us all, by heaven, and all the moving orbs thereof, by this right hand, and by my father's sword, and all the longing to my crown, I will have heads and lives for him, as many as I have manors, castles, towns, and towers rises. Treacherous Warwick, traitorous. If I be England's king, in lakes of gore your headless trunks, your bodies will I trail, that you may drink your fill and quaff in blood, and stain my royal standard with the same, that so my bloody may suggest remembrance of revenge immortally on your accursed traitorous progeny. You villains that have slain my, and in this place of and of trust, sweet, I adopt thee here, and merely of our love we do create the Earl of Gloucester and Lord Chamberlain, despite of times, despite of enemies. My lord, here's a messenger from the barons desires access unto your majesty. So wish not they I that sent thee hither. Thou comest from and his, a ranker rout of rebels never was. Well, say thy message. The barons up in arms by me salute your highness with long life and happiness, and bid me say, as plainer to your grace, that if without effusion of blood you will this grief have ease and remedy, that from your princely person you remove this, as a branch that deads the royal vine, whose golden leaves impale your princely head, your diadem. Whose brightness such pernicious upstarts dim, say they, and lovingly advise your grace to cherish virtue and nobility, and have old servitors in high esteem, and shake off smooth dissembling flatterers. This granted they there and their lives are to your highness vowed and consecrate. Away! Tarry no answer, but begone, rebels, will they appoint their sovereign his sports, his pleasures, and his company. Yet ere thou go, see how I do divorce embraces the younger from thee. Now get thee to thy lords, and tell them I will come to chastise them for murdering. Hie thee, get thee gone. Edward with fire and sword follows at thy heels. Exit herald. My lords, perceive you how these rebels swell, soldiers, good hearts. Defend your sovereign's right, for now, even now, we march to make them stoop. Away! Scene I. The battlefield. Why do we sound retreat? Upon them, lords. This day I shall your vengeance with my sword on those proud rebels that are up in arms, and do confront and countermand their king. 'Tis not amiss, my liege, for either part to breathe a while. Our men, with sweat and dust all choked well near, begin to faint for heat, and this retire horse and man. Here come the rebels. Look, Lancaster, yonder is Edward among his flatterers. And they're let him be, till he pay dearly for their company. They'd best betimes forsake thee and their trains, for they'll betray thee, traitors as they are. A noble attempt indeed, is it not, trow ye, to assemble aid and levy arms against your lawful king? For which, ere long, their heads shall satisfy to appease the wrath of their offended king. Then, Edward, thou wilt fight it to the last, and rather bathe thy sword in subjects' blood than banish that pernicious company. Traitors all, rather than thus be braved, make England's civil towns huge heaps of stones, and to go about our palace gates. A desperate and unnatural resolution, alarum to the fight. St. George for England, and the barons right. Now, lusty lords, now not by chance of war, but justice of the quarrel and the cause veiled is your pride. Methinks you hang the heads, but will advance them traitors. Now 'tis time to be avenged on you for all your braves, and for the murder of my dearest friend, to whom right well you knew our soul was knit. Good Pierce of my sweet, rebels, recreants, you made him away. Brother, in regard of thee and of thy land, did they remove that flatterer from thy throne? So, sir, you have spoke. Away, avoid our presence. Exit Kent. Accursed wretches, in regard of us, when we had sent our messenger to request he might be spared to come to speak with us, and undertook for his return that thou, proud Warwick, watched the prisoner, poor Pierce, and headed him gainst law of arms. For which thy head shall overlook the rest, as much as thou in rage outwenced the rest. Tyrant, I scorn thy threats and menaces, it is but temporal that thou canst inflict. The worst is death, and better die to live than live in infamy under such a king. Away with them, my lord of Winchester. These lusty leaders, Warwick and Lancaster, I charge you roundly, off with both their heads. Away! England, unkind to thy nobility grown for this grief. Behold how thou art maimed. Go take that haughty to the Tower, there see him safe bestowed, and for the rest, do speedy execution on them all. Begone! What? Can ragged stony walls immure thy virtue that aspires to heaven? No, Edward, England's scourge, it may not be, hope surmounts his fortune far. Sound drums and trumpets. March with me, my friends. Edward this day hath crowned him king anew. The trust that we repose in thee begets the quiet of King Edward's land, therefore be gone in haste, and with advice bestow that treasure on the lords of France, that, therewith all enchanted, like the guard that suffered Jove to pass in showers of gold to Danae, all aid may be to the queen, that now in France makes friends, to cross the seas with her young son, and step into his father's regiment. That's it these barons, and the subtle queen long levelled at. Yea, but thou these barons lay their heads on blocks together, what they intend, the hangman frustrates clean. Have you no doubt, my lords, I'll clap so close among the lords of France with England's gold, that shall make her plaints in vain, and France shall be obdurate with her tears. Then make for France, away. Proclaim King Edward's wars and victories. Act IV. Scene I near the Tower of London. Fair blows the wind for France, blow, gentle gale, till Edmund be arrived for England's good. Nature, yield to my country's cause in this. A brother, no, a butcher of thy friends. Proud Edward, dost thou banish me thy presence. But I'll to France and cheer the wronged queen, and certify what Edward's looseness is. Unnatural king, to slaughter noblemen and cherish flatterers. I stay thy sweet escape. Stand gracious, gloomy night, to his device. Holla, who there? You, my lord. 'Tis I, but hath thy portion wrought so happily? It hath, my lord. The warders all asleep, I thank them, gave me leave to pass in peace. But hath your grace got shipping unto France? Seen I. Paris. Ah boy, our friends do fail us all in France. The lords are cruel, and the king unkind. What shall we do? Madam, return to England, and please my father well, and then a fig for all my uncle's friendship here in France. I warrant you I'll win his highness quickly, a loves me better than 1,000. Ah boy, thou art deceived, at least in this, to think that we can yet be tuned together. No, we jar too far unkind Valois. Unhappy when France rejects, whither, oh, whither dost thou bend thy steps? Madam, what cheer? Ah, good Sir John of, never so cheerless nor so far. I hear, sweet lady, of the king's unkindness, but droop not, madam, noble minds contemn despair. Will your grace with me too, and there stay time's advantage with your son? How say you, my lord? Will you go with your friends, and shake off all our fortunes equally? So the queen my mother, me it likes, the king of England, not the court of France, shall have me from my gracious mother's side, till I be strong enough to break a staff, and then have at the proudest's head. Well said, my lord. O my sweetheart, how do I moan thy wrongs, yet triumph in the hope of thee, my joy. Ah, sweet Sir John, even to the utmost verge of Europe, on the shore of will we with thee to so we will. The Marquis is a noble gentleman, his grace, I dare presume, will welcome me, but who are these? Madam, long may you live, much happier than your friends in England do. Lord Edmund and Lord Alive. Welcome to France. The news was here, my lord, that you were dead, or very near your death. Lady, the last was truest of the twain, but reserved for better hap hath shaken off thee of the tower, and lives to advance your standard, good my lord. How mean you, and the king my father lives? No, my lord, not I trow. Not son. Why not? I would it were no worse, but gentle lords, friendless we are in France. Grand and noble friend of yours told us at our arrival all the news, how hard the nobles, how unkind the king hath showed himself. But madam, right makes room where weapons want, and though many friends are made away, as Warwick, Lancaster, and others of our part and faction, yet have we friends, assure your grace, in England, would cast up caps and clap their hands for joy to see us there, appointed for our foes. Would all were well, and Edward well reclaimed, for England's peace and quietness. But by the sword, my lord, tea must be deserved, the king will ne'er forsake his flatterers. My lords of England, the king of France, to give aid of arms to this distressed queen, his sister, here go you with her too. Doubt ye not we will find comfort, money, men, and friends, ere long to bid the English king abase. How says-t, young prince, what think you of the match? Nay, son, not so, and you must not discourage your friends that are so forward in your aid. Sir John of, pardon us, I pray, these comforts that you give our woeful queen bind us in kindness all at your command. Yea, gentle brother, and the God of heaven prosper your happy motion, good Sir John. This noble gentleman, forward in arms, was born, I see, to be our anchor hold. Sir John of, be it thy renown, that England's queen and nobles in distress have been by thee restored and comforted. Madam, along, and you, my lords, with me, that England's peers may's welcome see. Scene I. The Royal Palace, London. Thus, after many threats of wrathful war, England's Edward with his friends, and triumph Edward with his friends uncontrolled, my lord of Gloucester, do you hear the news? Why, man, they say there is great execution done through the realm, my lord of, you have the note, have you not? I pray, let us see it. Takes the note from. What have we there? Read it. Gives the note to the younger, who reads the names. Why so, they barked apace a month ago now, on my life, they'll neither bark nor bite. Now, sirs, the news from France. Gloucester, I trow, the lords of France love England's gold so well as Isabella gets no aid from thence. What now remains? Have you proclaimed, my lord, reward for them can bring in? My lord, we have, and if he be in England, a will be had ere long, I doubt it not. If dost thou say, as true as death he is in England's ground, our port masters are not so careless of their king's command. Letters, my lord, and tidings forth of France to you, my lord of Gloucester from. Gives letters to the younger. Writing, my duty to your promised, etc. I have, according to instructions in that behalf, dealt with the King of France and his lords, and effected that the Queen, all discontented and discomforted, is gone, whither, if you ask, with Sir John of, brother to the Marquis, into Flanders. With them are gone Lord Edmund and the Lord, having in their company divers of your nation and others, and as constant report goeth, they intend to give King Edward battle in England, sooner than he can look for them. This is all the news of import. Yours in all service. Ah, villains, hath that escaped. With him is Edmund gone associate. And will Sir John of lead the round. Welcome, O God's name, madam, and your son. England shall welcome you and all your rout. Gallop apace bright through the sky and dusky night in rusty iron car. Between you both shorten the time, I pray, that I may see that most desired day, when we may meet these traitors in the field. Ah, nothing grieves me, but my little boy is thus misled to countenance their ills. Come friends too, there to make us strong, and wins as equal be to bring them in, as you injurious were to bear them forth. Sign IV. Near. Now, lords, our loving friends, and welcome to England all, with prosperous winds. Our kindest friends in have we left, to cope with friends at home. A heavy case when force to force is knit, and sword and glaive in civil broils make kin and slaughter themselves and others, and their sides with their own weapons gored. But what's the help? Misgoverned kings are cause of all this wreck, and, Edward, thou art one among them all, whose looseness hath betrayed thy land to spoil, who made the channel overflow with blood of thine own people. Patron thou be, but thou nay, madam, if you be a warrior, you must not grow so passionate in speech as lords, that we are, by sufferance of heaven, arrived and armed in this prince's right. Here for our country's cause swear we to him all homage, fealty, and forwardness. And for the open wrongs and injuries Edward hath done to us, his queen and land, we come in arms to wreak it with the sword, that England's queen in peace may repossess her dignities, and withal we may remove these flatterers from the king that havoc England's wealth and treasury. Sound trumpets, my lord, and forward let us march. Edward will think we come to flatter him. Saint V near Bristol. Fly, fly, my lord. The queen is overstrong, her friends do multiply, and yours do fail. Shape we our course to Ireland, there to breathe. What? Was I born to fly and run away, and leave the conquerors behind? Give me my horse, and let's reinforce our troops. And in this bed of die with fame. Oh no, my lord. This princely resolution fits not the time. Away. We are pursued. This way he fled, but I am come too late. Edward, alas, my heart relents for thee. Proud traitor, why dost thou chase thy lawful king, thy sovereign, with thy sword? Vile wretch, and why hast thou, of all unkind, borne arms against thy brother and thy king? Rain showers of vengeance on my cursed head, thou God, to whom in justice it belongs to punish this unnatural revolt. Edward, this aims at thy life. Oh, fly him, then. But Edmund, calm this rage, dissemble, or thou, for undue kiss while they conspire, and yet she bears a face of love, forsooth. Fie on that love, that death and hate. Edmund, away. To blood is false, be not found single for suspect, proud prize near into thy walks. Successful battle gives the God of kings to them that fight in right, and fear and wrath, since, then, successfully we have prevailed, thanked be heaven's great architect and you. Ere farther we proceed, my noble lords, we here create our well-beloved son, of love and care unto his royal person, Lord Warden of the realm, and the fates have made his father so. Deal you, my lords, in this, my loving lords, as to your wisdom's fittest seems in all. Madam, without offence, if I may ask, how will you deal with Edward in his fall? My lord of Kent, what needs these questions? 'Tis not in her controlment nor in ours, but as the realm and parliament shall please, so shall your brother be disposed of, aside to the queen. I like not this relenting mood in Edmund, madam, 'tis good to look to him betimes. Yea, madam, and they 'scape not easily that fled the field. Is with the king, a goodly chancellor, is he not, my lord? God save Queen and her princely son. Madam, the mayor and citizens of, in sign of love and duty to this presence, present by me this traitor to the state, the father to that wanton that, like the lawless of Rome, revelled in England's wealth and treasury. Your loving care in this princely and rewards. But where's the king and the other fled? The son, created Earl of Gloucester, is with that smooth-tongued scholar gone, and shipped but late for Ireland with the king. Aside, some whirlwind fetch them back, or sink them all, they shall be started thence, I doubt it not. I rue my lord's ill fortune, but alas, care of my country called me to this war. Madam, have done with care and sad complaint, your king hath wronged your country and himself, and we must seek to right it as we may, meanwhile of hence this rebel to the block. Rebel is he that fights against the prince, so fought not they that fought in Edward's right. You, Rice, shall do good service to her majesty, being of countenance in your country here, to follow these rebellious, we in meanwhile, madam, must take advice. How, in their may in their fall, be followed to their end. Slain vi. The abbey of. Have you no doubt, my lord, have you no fear? As silent and as careful we will be to keep your royal person safe with us, free from suspect and fell invasion of such as have your majesty in chase yourself, and those your chosen company, as danger of this stormy time requires. Father, thy face should harbor no deceit. O, hadst thou ever been a king, thy heart, pierced deeply with sense of my distress, could not but take compassion of my state. Stately and proud in riches and in train whilom I was, powerful and full of pomp, but what is he whom rule and have not in life or death made miserable? Come, 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 sit down by me, make trial now of that philosophy that in our famous nurseries of arts thou from Plato and from Aristotle. Father, this life contemplative is heaven. Oh, that I might this life in quiet lead. But we, alas, are chaste, and you, my friends, your lives and my they pursue. Yet, gentle monks, for treasure, gold, nor fee, do you betray us in our company. Your grace may sit secure, if none but we do wot of your abode. Not one alive, but shrewdly I suspect a gloomy fellow in a mead below. I gave a long look after us, my lord, and all the land I know is up in arms that pursue our lives with deadly hate. We were embarked for Ireland, wretched we, with awkward winds and with sore tempests driven to fall on shore, and here to pine in fear of and his confederates. Oh, who talks of? Who wounds me with the name of that bloody man, good father, on thy lap lay I this head, laden with mickle care. Oh, might I never ope these eyes again. Never again lift up this drooping head. Oh, never more lift up this dying heart. Look up, my lord, this drowsiness betides no good, here even we are betrayed. Fellow enough, my lord, I pray, be short, a fair commission warrants what we do. The queen's commission, urged by, what cannot gallant with the queen, alas, see where he sits, and hopes unseen to escape their hands that seek to reave his life. Too true it is, dies. But Leicester leave to grow so passionate, and by no other names I arrest you of high treason here. Stand not on titles, but obey the arrest. Tease in the name of the queen, my lord, why droop you thus? O day, the last of all my bliss on earth. Center of all misfortune. O my stars, why do you unkindly on a king? Comes Leicester then in Isabella's name to take my life, my company from me. Here, man, rip up this panting breast of mine, and take my heart in rescue of my friends. It may become thee yet to let us take our farewell of his grace. Aside, my heart with pity earns to see this sight, a king to bear these words and proud commands. Nay, so will hell and cruel, the gentle heavens have not to do in this. My lord, it is in vain to grieve or storm. Here humbly of your grace we take our leaves, our lots are cast, I fear me so is thine. In heaven we may, in earth ne'er shall we meet, and Leicester say what shall become of us. Here is a litter ready for your grace that waits your pleasure, and the day grows old. A litter hast thou. Lay me in a hearse, and to the gates of hell convey me hence. Let Pluto's bells ring out my fatal knell, and hags howl for my death at Charon's shore. For friends hath Edward none but these, and these must die under a tyrant's sword. My lord, be going, care not for these, for we shall see them shorter by the heads. Well, that shall be, part we must sweet, gentle, part we must hence feigned weeds. Unfeigned are my woes, throwing off his disguise. Father, farewell, Leicester, thou stay'st he for me, and go I must life farewell with my friends. Oh, is he gone? Is noble Edward gone? Parted from hence never to see us more. Rend, sphere of heaven, and fire forsake thy orb. Earth melt to air. Gone is my sovereign, gone, gone, alas, never to make return. I see our souls are fleeting, hence we are deprived the sunshine of our life. Make for a new life, man, throw up thy eyes and heart and hand to heaven's immortal throne, pay nature's debt with cheerful countenance, reduce we all our lessons unto this, to die sweet, therefore live we all live to die and rise to fall. Come, come, keep these preachments, till you come to the place appointed. You and such as you are, have made wise work in England. Will your lordships away? Act v scene I castle. Be patient, good my lord, cease to lament, imagine castle were your court, and that you lay for pleasure here a space not of compulsion or necessity. Leicester, if gentle words might comfort me, thy speeches long ago had eased my sorrows, for kind and loving hast thou always been. The griefs of private men are soon allayed, but not of kings. The forest deer being struck runs to an herb that up the wounds, but when the imperial lion's flesh is gored, he rends and tears it with his wrathful paw and, highly scorning that the lowly earth should drink his blood, mounts up to the air. And so it fares with me, whose dauntless mind the ambitious would seek to curb, and that unnatural queen, false, that thus hath pent and mewed me in a prison for such outrageous passions cloy my soul, as with the wings of in disdain full often am I soaring up to heaven, to plain me to the gods against them both. But when I call to mind I am a king, methinks I should revenge me of my wrongs, that and have done. But what are kings when regiment is gone, but perfect shadows in a sunshine day? My nobles rule, I bear the name of king, I wear the crown, but am controlled by them and my queen, who spots my nuptial bed with infamy, whilst I am lodged within this cave of care, where sorrow at my elbow still attends, to company my heart with sad laments, that bleeds within me for this strange exchange. But tell me, must I now resign my crowns to make usurping a king? Your grace mistakes, it is for England's good, and princely Edward's right, we crave the crown. No, 'tis for not Edward's head, for he's a lamb, encompassed by wolves, which in a moment will abridge his life. But if proud do wear this crown, heavens turn it to a blaze of quenchless fire. Or like the snaky wreath of engirt the temples of his hateful head. So shall not England's vine be perished, but Edward's name survive, though Edward dies. My lord, why waste you thus the time away? They stay your answer, will you yield your crown? Ah, Leicester, weigh how hardly I can brook to lose my crown and kingdom without cause, to give ambitious my right, that like a mountain, overwhelms my bliss, in which extreme my mind here murdered is. But that the heavens appoint I must obey, here take my crown, the life of Edward too, taking off the crown. 2 kings in England cannot reign at once. But stay a while, let me be king till night, that I may gaze upon this glittering crown, so shall my eyes receive their last content, my head, the latest due to it, and jointly both yield up their wished right. Continue ever, thou celestial sun, let never silent night possess this clime. Stand still, you watches of the element, all times and seasons, rest you at a stay, that Edward may be still fair England's king. But day's bright beams doth vanish fast away, and needs I must resign my wished crown. Inhuman creatures, nursed with tiger's milk, why gape you for your sovereign's overthrow? My diadem, I mean, and guiltless life. See, monsters, see. I'll wear my crown again. Putting on the crown. What fear you not the fury of your king? But hapless Edward, thou art fondly led, they pass not for thy frowns as late they did, but seek to make a new elected king, which fills my mind with strange despairing thoughts, which thoughts are martyred with endless torments, and in this torment comfort find I none, but that I feel the crown upon my head, and therefore let me wear it yet a while. My lord, the Parliament must have present news, and therefore say, will you resign or no? The king, I'll not resign, not whilst I live. Traitors, be gone, and join you with. Elect, conspire, install, do what you will, their blood and yours shall seal these treacheries. Call them again, my lord, and speak them fair, for, if they go, the prince shall lose his right. Oh, would I might! But heavens and earth conspire to make me miserable. Here, receive my crown. Receive it. No, these innocent hands of mine shall not be guilty of so foul a crime. he of you all that most desires my blood, and will be called the murderer of a king. Take it. What are you moved? Pity you may. Then send for unrelenting and, whose eyes being turned to steel will sooner sparkle fire than shed a tear. Yet stay, for rather than I'll look on them here. Gives the crown. Now, sweet God of heaven, make me despise this transitory pomp, and sit for aye in heaven. Come, death, and with thy fingers close my eyes, or, if I live, let me forget myself. Call me not Lord, away, out of my sight. Ah, pardon me. Grief makes me lunatic. Let not that protect my son, more safety there is in a tiger's jaws than his embracements. Bear this to the queen wet with my tears and dried again with sighs, gives a handkerchief. If with the sight thereof she be not moved, return it back and dip it in my blood. Commend me to my son and bid him rule better than I, yet how have I transgressed, unless it be with too much clemency. Farewell, I know the next news that they bring will be my death, and welcome shall it be, to wretched men death is felicity. Such news as I expect come, Berkeley, come, and tell thy message to my naked breast. My lord, think not a thought so villainous can harbor in a man of noble birth. To do your highness service and devoir, and save you from your foes, Berkeley would die. My lord, the council of the queen command that I resign my charge. Taking the paper, by whose name is written here. Well may I rent his name that rends my heart. Tears it. This poor revenge hath something eased my mind, so may his limbs be torn as is this paper. Hear me, immortal Jove, and grant it too. Whither you will, all places are alike, and every earth is fit for burial. Mine enemy hath my estate, and that's the cause that I am now removed. I know not, but of this am I assured, that death ends all, and I can die but once. Leicester, farewell. Scene I. The Royal Palace, London. Fair, now have we our desire. The proud corrupters of the light-brained king have done their homage to the lofty gallows, and he himself lies in captivity. Be ruled by me, and we will rule the realm. In any case take heed of childish fear, for now we hold an old wolf by the ears that, if he slip, will seize upon us both, and gripe the sorrower, being griped himself. Think therefore, madam, that imports us much to erect your son with all the speed we may, and that I be protector over him, for our behoof, 'twill bear the greater sway a king's name shall be under it. Sweet the life of be thou persuaded that I love thee well, and therefore, so the prince my son be safe, whom I esteem as dear as these mine eyes, conclude against his father what thou wilt, and I myself will willingly subscribe. First would I hear news he were deposed, and then let me alone to handle him. Thanks, gentle Winchester, Sirrah, be gone. Further, or this letter was sealed, Lord Berkeley came, so that he now is gone from, and we have heard that Edmund laid a plot to set his brother free, nor more but so. The Lord of Berkeley is so pitiful as Leicester, that had charge of him before. Let me alone, here is the privy seal. To attendants within. Who's there? Call hither Gurney, and to dash the heavy-headed Edmund's drift, Berkeley shall be discharged, the king removed, and none but we shall know where he. But as long as he survives, what safety rests for us or for my son? I would he were so, not by my means. Enough, write a letter presently unto the Lord of Berkeley from ourself, that he resign the king to the Ingurney, and, when 'tis done, we will subscribe our name. It shall be done, my lord. Right. As thou intend'st to rise by, who now makes fortune's wheel turn as he please, seek all the means thou canst to make him droop, and neither give him kind word nor good look. And this above the rest, because we hear that Edmund casts to work his liberty, remove him still from place to place by night, till at the last he come to, and then from thence to Berkeley back again, and by the way to make him fret the more speak cursely to him, and in any case let no man comfort him if he chance to weep, but amplify his grief with bitter words. Whither goes this letter? To my lord the king. Commend me humbly to his majesty, and tell him that I all in vain to ease his grief and work his liberty, and bear him this as witness of my love. Gives ring. I will, madam. Exit with Gurney. Finely dissembled. Do so still, sweet queen. Here comes the young prince with the Earl of Kent. Something he whispers in his childish ears. If he have such access unto the prince, our plots and stratagems will soon be dashed. You, being his uncle and the next of blood, do look to be protector o'er the prince. Not I, my lord, who should protect the son, but she that gave him life. I mean the queen. Mother, persuade me not to wear the crown, let him be king, I am too young to reign. Inconstant Edmund, dost thou him that wast a cause of his imprisonment. Aside to Queen Isabella. I tell thee, 'tis not meet that one so false should come about the person of a prince, my lord. He hath betrayed the king his brother, and therefore trust him not. Why, youngling, thou so of? Then I will carry thee by force away. Brother Edmund, strive not, we are his friends, is nearer than the Earl of Kent. Aside, shall know that he hath wronged me. Hence will I haste to castle, and rescue aged Edward from his foes to be revenged on and thee. Scene I. Near castle. My lord, be not pensive, we are your friends. Men are ordained to live in misery, therefore come, dalliance our lives. Friends, whither must unhappy Edward go? Will hateful appoint no rest? Must I be vexed like the nightly bird, whose sight is loathsome to all winged fowls? When will the fury of his mind assuage? When will his heart be satisfied with blood? If mine will serve, unbowel straight this breast, and give my heart to and him, it is the chiefest mark they level at. Not so, my liege, the queen hath given this charge to keep your grace in safety, your passions make your to increase. This usage makes my misery increase. But can my air of life continue long, when all my senses are annoyed with stench? Within a dungeon England's king is kept, where I am starved for want of sustenance. My daily diet is heartbreaking sobs that almost rent the closet of my heart. Thus lives old Edward, not relieved by any, and so must die, though by many. O water, gentle friends, to cool my thirst, and clear my body from foul excrements. Here's channel water, as our charge is given. Sit down, for we'll be barbers to your grace. Traitors, away! What, will you murder me, or choke your sovereign with puddle water? No, but wash your face, and shave away your beard, lest you be known, and so be rescued. The wren may strive against the lion's strength, but all in vain, so vainly do I strive to seek for mercy at a tyrant's hand. Immortal powers that know the painful cares that wait upon my poor distressed soul, oh, level all your looks upon these daring men that wrong their liege and sovereign, England's king. Oh, it is for thee that I am wronged. For me both thou and both the died, and for your sakes 1,000 wrongs I'll take. The ghosts, wherever they remain, wish well to mine, then tush, for them I'll die. Theirs and yours shall be no enmity. Come, come, away. Now put the torches out, we'll enter in by darkness too. Where is the court but here? Here is the king, and I will visit him, why stay you me? The court is where Lord remains, thither shall you go, and so farewell. Oh, miserable is that commonweal, where lords keep courts and kings are locked in prison. Lead me whither you will, even to my death, seeing that my brother cannot be released. Sign IV. The Royal Palace, London. The king must die or goes down. The commons now begin to pity him, yet he that is the cause of Edward's death is sure to pay for it when his son of age, and therefore will I do it cunningly. This letter, written by a friend of ours, contains his death, yet bids then save his life. Raids. Bonum est, fear not to kill the king, 'tis good he die. But read it thus, and that's another sense. Bonum est, kill not the king, 'tis good to fear the worst. Unpointed as it is, thus shall it go. That being dead, if it chance to be found, and the rest may bear the blame, and we be quit that caused it to be done. Within this room is locked the messenger that shall convey it, and perform the rest, and, by a secret token that he bears, shall he be murdered when the deed is done, come forth. You shall not need to give instructions. 'Tis not the first time I have killed a man. I learned in Naples how to poison flowers, to strangle with a lawn thrust down the throat, to pierce the windpipe with a needle's point, or, whilst one is asleep, to take a quill, and blow a little powder in his ears, or open his mouth and pour quicksilver down. But yet I have a braver way than these. I care not how it is, so it be not spied. Deliver this to Gurney, and gives letter. At every 10-mile end thou hast a horse, take this, gives money. Away, and never see me more. The prince I rule, the queen do I command, and with a lowly to the ground the proudest lords salute me as I pass. I seal, I cancel, I do what I will. Feared am I more than loved, let me be feared, and when I frown, make all the court look pale. I view the prince with Aristarchus' eyes, whose looks were as a breeching to a boy. They thrust upon me the protectorship, and sue to me for that I desire, while at the council table, grave enough, and not unlike a bashful Puritan first I complain of imbecility, saying it is onus, till being interrupted by my friends that, as they term it, and to conclude, I am protector now. Now all is sure, the queen and shall rule the realm, the king, and none rule us. Mine enemies will I plague, my friends advance, and what I list command who dare control. Major sum, and that this be the coronation day, it me and the queen. Trumpets within. The trumpets sound, I must go take my place. Long live King Edward, by the grace of God, King of England and Lord of Ireland. If any Christian, heathen, Turk, or Jew dares but affirm that Edward's not true king, and will avouch his saying with the sword, I am the champion that will combat him. I would have taken the king away perforce, as we were bringing him to. I did, he is our king, and thou tee this prince to wear the crown. Sweet mother, if I cannot pardon him, entreat my lord protector for his life. Nor I, and yet methinks I should command, but seeing I cannot, I'll entreat for him. My lord, if you will let my uncle live, I will requite it when I come to age. 'Tis for your highness good, and for the realms, how often shall I bid you bear him hence? Let me but stay and speak. I will not go, either my brother or his son is king, and none of both them thirst for Edmund's blood, and therefore, soldiers, whither will you hail me? What safety may I look for at his hands, if that my uncle shall be murdered thus? Fear not, sweet boy, I'll guard thee from thy foes. Had Edmund lived, he would have sought thy death. Come, son, we'll ride a hunting in the park. Scene v. Berkeley Castle. Gurney, I wonder the king dies not, being in a vault up to the knees in water, to which the channels of the castle run, from whence a damp continually, that were enough to poison any man, much more a king, brought up so tenderly. And so do I, yesternight I opened but the door to throw him meat, and I was almost stifled with the. He hath a body able to endure more than we can inflict, and therefore now let us assail his mind another while. But stay, who's this? Gurney, it was left unpointed for the nonce, that's his meaning. Stay a while, thou shalt have answer straight, aside. This villain sent to make away the king. Aside. And when the murder's done, see how he must be handled for his. Let him have the king. What else here is the keys, this is the lake, do as you are commanded by my lord. I know what I must do. Get you away, yet be not far off. I shall need your help. See that in the next room I have a fire, and get me a spit, and let it be red hot. So now, must I about this gear, ne'er was there any so finely handled as this king shall be. Foe, here's a place indeed with all my heart. Small comfort finds poor Edward in thy looks, villain, I know thou com'st to murder me. To murder you, my most gracious lord. Far is it from my heart to do you harm. The queen sent me to see how you were used, for she relents at this your misery, and what I can refrain from shedding tears to see a king in this most piteous state. Weep'st thou already? List a while to me, and then thy heart, were it as Gurney's is, or as hewn from the Caucasus, yet will it melt ere I have done my tale. This dungeon where they keep me is the sink, wherein the filth of all the castle falls. And there in mire and puddle have I stood this 10 days' space, and lest that I should sleep one plays continually upon a drum, they give me bread and water, being a king, so that, for want of sleep and sustenance, my mind's distempered and my body's numbed, and whether I have limbs or no I know not. Oh, would my blood dropped out from every vein, as doth this water from my tattered robes. Tell the queen I looked not thus, when for her sake I ran at tilt in France, and there unhorsed the Duke of. Oh, speak no more, my lord. This breaks my heart. Lie on this bed, and rest yourself a while. These looks of thine can harbor naught but death, I see my tragedy written in thy brows. Yet stay a while, forbear thy bloody hand, and let me see the stroke before it comes, that even then when I shall lose my life, my mind may be more steadfast on my God. These hands were never stained with innocent blood, nor shall they now be tainted with a king. Forgive my thought for having such a thought. One jewel have I left, receive thou this. Gives jewel. Still fear I, and I know not what's the cause, but every joint shakes as I give it thee. Oh, if thou harbor'st murder in thy heart, let this gift change thy mind and save thy soul. Know that I am a king. Oh, at that name I feel a hell of griefs. Where is my crown? Gone, gone. And do I still remain alive? But that grief keeps me waking. I should sleep, for not these 10 days have these eyelids closed. Now as I speak they fall, and yet with fear open again. Oh, wherefore thou here? No, no, for if thou meanst to murder me, thou wilt return again, and therefore stay. Sleep, thou. Waking. Oh, let me not die yet. Oh, stay a while. Something still in mine ears, and tells me if I sleep I never wake. This fear is that which makes me tremble thus, and therefore tell me wherefore art thou come. I am too weak and feeble to resist. Assist me, sweet God, and receive my soul. So lay the table down and stamp on it, but not too hard, lest that you bruise his body. I fear me that this cry will raise the town, and therefore let us take horse and away. Excellent, well, take this for thy reward. Stabs who dies. Come, let us cast the body in the moat, and bear the king to our lord away. Slain vi. The Royal Palace, London. Done, and the murderer dead. If thou now growst penitent, I'll be thy ghostly father, therefore choose whether thou wilt be secret in this, or else die by the hand of. Gurney my lord is fled, and will, I fear, betray us both, therefore let me fly. As for myself, I stand as Jove's huge tree, and others are but shrubs compared to me. All tremble at my name, and I fear none. Let's see who dare impeach me for his death. Ah, the king my son hath news, his father's dead, and we have murdered him. But he tears his hair and wrings his hands, and vows to be revenged upon us both. Into the council chamber he is gone to crave the aid and of his peers. Me see where he comes, and they with him. Now begins our tragedy. Think not that I am frighted with thy words. My father's murdered through thy treachery, and thou shalt die, and on his mournful hearse thy hateful and accursed head shall lie to witness to the world that by thy means his kingly body was too soon interred. Forbid not me to weep, he was my father, and had you loved him half so well as I, you could not bear his death thus patiently, but you, I fear, conspired with. Because I think scorn to be accused. Who is the man dares say I murdered him? Traitor in me my loving father speaks, and plainly saith, 'Twas thou that him. Ah, thou knowst that he is slain. And so shalt thou be too, why stays he here? Bring him unto a hurdle, drag him forth, hang him, I say, and set his quarters up, and bring his head back presently to me. Madam, entreat not, I will rather die than sue for life unto a paltry boy. Base fortune, now I see that in thy wheel there is a point, to which when men aspire, they tumble headlong down. That point I touched, and seeing there was no place to mount up higher, why should I grieve at my declining fall? Farewell, fair queen, weep not for that scorns the world, and as it goes to discover countries yet unknown. As thou thy life from me, spill not the blood of gentle. This argues that you my father's blood, else would you not entreat for. That is untrue, for loving thee is this report raised on poor. Mother, you are suspected for his death, and therefore we commit you to the tower, till further trial may be made thereof. If you be guilty, though I be your son, think not to find me slack or pitiful. Nay, to my death, for too long have I lived, my son thinks to abridge my days. Away with her. Her words enforce these tears, and I shall pity her if she speak again. Shall I not mourn for my beloved lord? And with the rest accompany him to his grave. My lord here is the head of. Go fetch my father's hearse, where it shall lie, and bring my funeral robes. Accursed head, could I have ruled thee then, as I do now, thou hadst not hatched this monstrous treachery. Here comes the hearse, help me to mourn my lords. Sweet father, hereunto thy murdered ghost I offer up the wicked traitor's head, and let these tears, distilling from mine eyes, be witness of my grief and innocency. Colophon. Edward II was published in 1593 by Christopher. 10 sponsored the production of this for Standard. By Alex Cabal, and is based on a transcription produced in 2007 by Daniel for Project and on digital scans from Google Books. The cover page is adapted from Edward II and a painting completed in 1872 by Stone. The cover and title pages feature the League Spartan and Sorts Mill typefaces created in 2014 and 2009 by the Leg of Type. This edition was released on February 4, 2026, 8:15 p.m. and is based on revision 65D360F. The first edition of this was released on August 23, 2024, 7:01 p.m. You can check for updates to this, view its revision history, or download it for different systems at org. Christopher Edward. The volunteer-driven standard project relies on readers like you to submit typos, corrections, and other improvements. Anyone can contribute at .org. Personi. King Edward II. King Edward II. Prince Edward his son, later Edward III. Prince Edward his son, later Edward III. Earl of Kent, brother to King Edward II. Earl of Kent, brother to King Edward II. Archbishop of Canterbury. Archbishop of Canterbury. Bishop of Coventry. Bishop of Coventry. Bishop of Winchester. Bishop of Winchester. Warwick. Warwick. Lancaster. Lancaster. Leicester. Leicester. Berkeley. Berkeley. The elder. The elder. The younger his nephew. The younger his nephew. The elder. The elder. The younger his son. The younger his son. Beaumont. Beaumont. Gurney. Gurney. Sir John of. Sir John of. Rice. Rice. Abbot, monks, herald, lords, poor men, James, mower, champion, messengers, soldiers, and attendants. Abbot, monks, herald, lords, poor men, James, mower, champion, messengers, soldiers, and attendants. Queen Isabella, wife to King Edward II. Queen Isabella, wife to King Edward II. Niece to King Edward II, daughter of the Duke of Gloucester. Niece to King Edward II, daughter of the Duke of Gloucester. Ladies. Ladies. Edward II. Imprenta. This is the product of many hours of hard work by volunteers for Standard, and builds on the hard work of other literature lovers made possible by the public domain. This particular is based on a transcription from Project and on digital scans from Google Books. The source text and artwork in this are believed to be in the United States public domain. That is, they are believed to be free of copyright restrictions in the United States. They may still be copyrighted in other countries, so users located outside of the United States must check their local laws before using this. The creators of and contributors to this dedicate their contributions to the worldwide public domain via the terms in the CC01 Universal Public Domain Dedication. For full license information, see the at the end of this. Standard is a volunteer-driven project that produces editions of public domain literature using modern typography, technology, and editorial standards, and distributes them free of cost. You can download this and other carefully produced for true book lovers at .org.